reasons why I love you and none of them rhyme. 9 times 9, 81, Bonnie and Clyde. We got high and sat by the Wellington sign. I had one hell of a time, it's rock and roll to like.
Also, on another point, it seems, for me, it seems there's almost a spiritual battle going on between light and dark, good and evil. There's freedom and choice and fear and control. And one of the policies which I think has gone a little bit unnoticed is for a lot of Kiwis, is the late term abortion bill that was brought in during just before we went into lockdown, where abortions can happen almost until birth, after 20 weeks. So there's been a huge change, and it's it's this bill that's been brought in. What are your thoughts on that?
Okay, well, firstly, we will be peeling that right back to where it was before. Advance NZ, individual candidates have their own personal preference. For me, I'm anti-abortion straight across the board, but that is not something that a party should legislate. It's there now. This late-term abortion, I've heard people say, I don't think very many people will do that. It is happening, even over this baby's the wrong sex, I want it gone. There are some doctors now that are going to stand up and be conscientious objectors. They're appalled by it. So yes, we're going to peel that back. For me, abortion is just, as horrendous as it is just one part of the Agenda 21 depopulation, or at least the United Nations depopulation agenda that they have. So that's why abortion is depopulating on the front door of life, euthanasia is depopulating on the back door of life, and then there's a raft of other things specific to each ethnicity and specific to the West. We are cancer's skyrocketing. You know, we are all being depopulated one way or another because no government in New Zealand has underpinned our health with preventative measures. And so getting back to the abortion, one of the 3 things I think we can do, which doesn't need legislation, is stop the human body trade. Aborted baby pieces, tissue is a multi-billion-dollar industry that moves into the vaccine industry and other industries. If we choose to cut that off right now, there wouldn't be a market for aborted babies. The other thing is that over the last 30 years, we've slowly been moved away from a model that God has made us precious as individuals. Life is totally precious. We've moved to a Darwinian, Aristotelian worldview that we're no more than the cells we're made up of. So who cares if we remove the baby? That's why soon, really, the next step is going to be abortion up to 2 years of age. That is coming.
Yeah.
If we crush the market, if we start to say, hey, you are precious, you're made in the image of God. And also, when the abortion bill first came into New Zealand, it was to save women from the stigma of being unmarried mothers. That's no longer there. Yeah. So maybe now we support those mothers in different ways, and look maybe to adoption. And there's all sorts. There's the open adoption or closed adoption. That's, all those choices can be talked about. But they say, how you look after, how a country looks after the most vulnerable, it tells you a lot about a country. So we need to look after our most vulnerable, which is the unborn baby, and look after our elderly.
Yeah. And I liked what you're saying about like being a divine, we're divine beings. We're, the highest manifestation of God's creation on the planet. And there's been a little bit of a push for this, almost an anti-human type push, that we in some way are the reason that the earth is polluted and the climate. And I've seen it with my previous job working with thousands of young people. I've seen it people coming from university, they in a way are feeling guilty about being a human and causing things, but we're here to, you know, do good in the world,
Yes,
and, you know,
right.
bring light to the planet, which I think we need to connect with that heart center and value ourselves as people. You know, old people, babies.
Yes,
you know,
that's right.
all of us in society.
Yes. Yes, we've been told we're a cancer on this earth, haven't we?
Yeah.
And we've been told that our resources are running out, where they're not. Oil is a renewable resource. It is not a fossil fuel.
Yeah.
If you look back into the early 1900s with the Rockefeller industry there, it's not a fossil fuel. Water is a renewable resource. We're just not told about the primary. We know the reservoir, we know the rain. We're not told about the primary water. So as soon as we get our head in the right space, also the United Nations sits, its basic foundation is not a natural foundation, it's a spiritual foundation. And that spiritual foundation is pantheism. And pantheism promotes nature above man. Therefore, with United Nations biodiversity documentation, a stone has the same rights as a man. So that's where you come under international law, that's where you come under the state as God, where if you come over here and you say, no, I'm a sovereign person under God, not the state, that puts human beings in their proper place, that we have more rights than a stone, we have more rights than a flowing river. And with Helen Clark of the Labour government bringing in the United Nations Common Core curriculum back in the early 2000s, that is teaching everyone Marxist mindsets and philosophies that man needs to diminish and nature needs to be promoted. Everything's back to front. And if that were so in New Zealand, we wouldn't be doing the 1080 drops and absolutely devastating our natural forests. So, you know, nothing is consistent. You hear the language, the narrative, but then you see what they're doing. It doesn't add up.
It's not congruent.
No.
So that's amazing, and it was good to dive deep onto the pantheism and these other things. If people want to contact you or follow you, what is the best way for them to do that moving forward towards the election, which is only in under 4 weeks' time? This is our time. We can make a stand, take action. How's the...
Well, I've got a Facebook page, Advance NZ Taupo Electric Facebook page. You can follow me on that, and you can message me on that. So as a candidate, that's probably the best way. As an author, if you go on to my website, AntoinetteJames.com, I have a Gmail address at the bottom there, and you can email me through that avenue. So I'm very approachable. I try, and thus far have answered every message, every phone call that has come through. And it's really about sharing information and being there for each other, because it's about we the people. And that's what this whole movement up and behind Billy Tikahika is all about. Advance NZ has given us our mandate, that name, that branding to go into the elections on, so that we will get into office. And even when we're in office, although I may be a little bit further down the list, give me your candidate vote. I will be there, and I will still be approachable, because it's about our voice. It's about decentralization and bringing decision making back to communities and back to families.
And do you have a YouTube channel?
I do. I've had a bit of problem. My first one was hidden in plain sight. I seem to be locked out of that. Google are not corresponding with me and haven't done so for months. I've very, very recently set up another one called Freedom's Ramparts, from our national anthem. I've taken the apostrophe before the Freedom's S out just to make it easier. The videos I'm putting on Facebook, I'm now putting up onto that YouTube channel. And then I'll also be taking all my old YouTube podcasts off my old YouTube channel and getting that back on, or putting it onto Freedom's Rampart.
Oh, very good. I will leave links to all of the everything I have access to in the description box below. please like, share and subscribe to the channel, and share this video out. Network it, let other people see, so they can see we do have options.
Yes.
It's not just red or blue, which are basically the same. Different colours of the same thing. We have other avenues that we can exercise our free will and choose. It has been very enjoyable having a conversation with you, and I look forward to hearing from you and seeing you in the run up to the election, and I wish you all the best.
Thank you very much.
Have courage,
Yes.
speak your truth,
Yes.
support each other, have faith and have fun. Peace out.